What is good, everybody? It's your boy Champagne Chico, and we're back. We're back with another rebuild. This week we're going back to franchises that really need rebuilding. I don't think the Texans have been good ever since Deshaun Watson left, or even DeAndre Hopkins left. They continuously are at the bottom of the league. They have had some bright spots as last year with Dameon Pierce, maybe Derek Stingley if you ignore the end of the season. They have a good line, a decent line. Their quarterback sucks. Davis Mills sucks. That's not in any question. Now they're the second pick because Lovie Smith knew that he was about to get fired, so he purposely won the game. You got somebody like Dameon Pierce in the backfield. There is some things that you can do with the team. I mean, Brandon Cooks has a contract. They were talking about trading him at the trade deadline, didn't end up doing it. He kind of got fussy about it, ended up playing almost the rest of the season anyways. But that's what we're building today. The Houston Texans, no QB, practically no defense. Sometimes they do have Larry Hughes Jr. I think I'm confusing him with Larry Hughes in basketball. Yeah, I think it's gonna be an interesting one, maybe a long one, depending on who we're able to get for QB. Before we get into it though, I need to ask you to please like and subscribe. These videos take a while. These videos do take a while to make, especially the rebuild ones, and I would greatly appreciate if you do hit that red button down there and hit the like button for other people to be able to see this video as well if you enjoy it. We are firing Lovie Smith once again, and we're bringing in Champagne Chico. I'm going to go across the whole league and win a championship with every team. I think that's my goal. If I do that, then I'll probably have to go back to the Raiders, because the Raiders just suck in general. At the end of 2022, the Chargers win by 1 point against the Cowboys. Still the same awards usually, just the only difference is Super Bowl MVP. All right, so now we kind of talk about like what prospects we're looking at. Of course, as the Texans, they're bound to be looking for a quarterback. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. In real life, they might have to trade up to the first pick because of the race for the first pick. I don't know if I'm willing to do that in the game. I would like to take advantage of the fact that nobody's probably going to do that. So I think I'll stick at 2. Of course, they want to get Bryce Young. That's been the plan basically all along. But I've kept the same kind of draft classes always. If y'all want to let me know if you like just auto-generated rookies and then we just draft the positions that we can find that are good for us, then that's cool too. But I like doing the regular rookies right now. But we have to see what players need to get re-signed right now. We have, I think it's only the first 2, really. All these other guys are kind of backups, to be honest with you. I mean, yeah, our left end and Desmond King. Desmond King is getting old, and so is our left end. But it's good to have, like, decent ones while you can, and Desmond King is really cheap right now, so I'm going to try to get him for what he wants, basically. I don't see why he would. Okay, I guess not. We're not getting Desmond King back. Don't know why. Definitely not franchise tagging him. There's no point of that. This left end wants to be on our team on a neutral deal. I don't mind it. I can do that. Oh, I literally gave him what he wanted, and he didn't take it. I mean, okay. Well, then that means we just go into free agency kind of looking at what we can get and see how we can improve this team. There's a lot of open spots on the roster. I don't know why Davis Mills has star development. He's definitely going to be the backup. Dameon Pierce did good this season. A lot of people didn't think that was going to happen, but I liked him at Florida. I definitely liked him at Florida. Brandon Cooks is still here. Nico Collins is here. I mean, we can really have improvement on all sides of the offense, to be honest with you, except for left tackle. I mean, Laramie Tunsil was a 93. Our strong safety was the one that won Rookie of the Year, or Defensive Rookie of the Year to be specific. Desmond King might be leaving, and so is our left end. So basically, almost every position is a position of need. So whatever we can find, we should try to sign. Unless we could probably wait until next year to see what free agents are in the next free agency class and really try to sign those and make our team a lot better. All right, and at the end of stage 1, Jason Kelce was here, and I mean, we need a center. Almost every team needs a center. I like our chances getting Jason Kelce, even though he wasn't that interested. I think he was interested in the money. Josh Allen, we are tied with the Chiefs in terms of getting him. I hope we're able to get him over the Chiefs. TJ Edwards, a great middle linebacker. Hopefully he develops over time, but we need a middle linebacker desperately. Orlando Brown, I was thinking about moving him to right tackle and have Laramie Tunsil at left tackle and just have that duo, and also hopefully Jason Kelce as well, but we're tied with 3 other teams right now. And Desmond King, I mean, it wouldn't hurt to have our cornerback back for the remainder of the season. I would say maybe next season is when we're just like, we cut ties with him. But yeah, we can just see what ends up happening right now with these players. Josh Allen is still thinking about it because he got a better offer from the Lions. We got TJ Edwards, Orlando Brown, and Desmond King. We did not get Jason Kelce. He ended up going to the New York Jets. We have to re-evaluate Josh Allen's contract because I would like to get Josh Allen. It would be a great pickup for us. And I think it would make all the difference. We're tied with the Lions now. I would like to see what ends up happening with it. He decided to go to the Lions. Well, I mean, can't have all of them, really. Can't have all of them. Our rookie is at strong safety, so we don't need Jimmy Ward. Really, that's all I saw that was worth it. Maybe Townsend, because punters are always useful. We do have a 75 overall, but I'll try to get Townsend anyways. I'll just do these right now. Hopefully they both agree to it. I think this is really going to be my last try at signing somebody. Looks like our right guard might not come to us, but Townsend does end up coming to us. We'll have to see at the draft if that right guard ended up coming to our team, but I'm going to save the rest of the money for the upcoming free agency next year. I don't expect us to be too good in terms of this year, even with a possible generational talent quarterback. But obviously, I don't really need to go into it. Bryce Young is what we're looking at right now, and kind of just have to figure it out as we go with the other positions and other rounds. So, yeah, hopefully we can find the right positions of need. All right, now we're in the draft. I picked out some players that I was interested in. The late round picks are really not looking good at all, but we're going to go ahead and just advance to the next pick. I'm assuming they're going to take a defensive player. He takes Tyree Wilson. Well, that's great for them. Don't really care. I am going to be taking Bryce Young. Fantastic prospect. A bit undersized, but his tangibles, his talent, everything about him is perfect for any team that needs a QB. Hidden development, of course, 88 throw power, 84 speed, 86 acceleration. A lot of room for improvement, but he's definitely probably going to be able to. Wow, Michael Maher got taken before us, and that was the other person that I was thinking about taking. That doesn't help us very much. I'm going to have to look at what I have already. Did have Bijan. I did have Bijan Robinson. I mean, Dameon Pierce is great. I don't think the Texans end up going with Bijan as much as it would be a great add to the team. I just don't think it's a smart idea. I was going to take Michael Maher at this position right here, but it literally got taken right before us. We have to get somebody that will pair alongside Bryce Young. And Jackson Smith looks pretty good. I really don't see any other wide receivers that are just like standing out at me. Zay Flowers is not much better than him. I mean, cornerback would be good, but I think we're good with that right now. I'm going to take Jackson Smith. He is normal development, but I think he's going to be able to develop next to Bryce Young a lot easier than he would anywhere else. Out of Ohio State, 89 acceleration, 86 agility, 86 change of direction, 88 jumping, and 88 speed. It's not bad. I mean, his stats aren't the greatest, but he is a round one talent. And I'm pretty confident in that pick just because of the quarterback that we now have. All right, and at our round 2 pick, we're going to go ahead and take a cornerback. Cam Smith looks pretty good. I mean, his tackle kind of sucks, but B man coverage, B press, B catching, not bad for a quarterback. 6 foot, man to man, 23 years old. I think it's a good pick. Normal development as well, but these are all high talents. With the way that I've seen normal development players progress faster with the development system than actual hidden development players, I'm not worried about it. 91 speed, 86 jumping, 87 change of direction, 88 agility, and 90 acceleration. Not bad. He's a cornerback, so we'll have to see how he develops in our system. I like the potential of this defensive tackle. I mean, we're in need of a defensive tackle right now. 6'5", 312, 21 years old, out of Florida, run stopper. I don't mind it. It's round 3. I like the projections of his stats. He has B tackle. I don't expect a defensive tackle to have good play recognition. B awareness. He's a run stopper, so his power moves isn't going to be great. And he's not great at all. Well, hopefully he looks a lot better with his overall, but that wasn't a great pick. But we needed positions of need, and the prospects that were there for the position that we were at just aren't what we need right now. And to pair up alongside TJ Edwards on our team, I'm going to go ahead and get Noah Sewell, the brother of Penei Sewell, a run stopper. But he has pretty good overall stats. B play recognition, B tackle, B awareness, C pursuit, B man coverage. I mean, he is a middle linebacker. He's going to be in zone. So hopefully he does pan out. He also has normal development, 85 speed, 88 acceleration, 83 jumping, 81 agility, and 76 strength. It's not bad, but we're kind of getting middle of the line players. I just hope they develop correctly. And since we are in need of a center, Luke Weipler is a center that looks pretty good in the 4th round, I'm pretty sure. A impact blocking, B awareness, A lead block, B pass block finesse. He's agile, so he's kind of both at the same time. I hope that he does do good. I mean, I'm not expecting him to have the most insane speed stats because that's all they're showing, but he's a center. Hopefully he does end up being a good overall because we're going to have him at starting center. And at right outside linebacker, Byron Young looks pretty good. He's a speed rusher with A pursuit out of Tennessee, B hit power, C zone coverage. I mean, he's a right outside linebacker. 2 of the important stats, like B hit power and A pursuit, look pretty good to me. Everything else is a projection. He is normal development as well. 88 acceleration, 84 speed, 82 jumping, and 80 agility. Really just trying to fill in some positions right now, and I'm just hoping that they develop correctly and we do not have to worry about them for a good couple years. And in the 6th round, I'm going to go ahead and take Jake Moody. I know it's like a common thing in my videos, but he's a great kicker. I liked him in real life out of Michigan, U of M. Power archetype. Not much better of a kicker that you can get than Jake Moody. I love him. I hope that he keeps doing well, and we need a kicker because the kicker that's on the Texans is not reliable whatsoever. All right, and at the start of season 1 of the rebuild, of course, we have Bryce Young at starting QB, Dameon Pierce at starting halfback. Hopefully he keeps going in terms of developing. Brandon Cooks, wide receiver 1. Jackson Smith is wide receiver 2. 74 overall isn't the best thing in the world, so not too excited about that. We did end up getting that guard right here, so a pretty decent line so far. I'm not complaining about it. TJ Edwards holding it down in the middle. Noah Sewell is gonna just learn from him, really. I'm really just hoping some of these young players pan out. It would help me a lot, but we have a lot of great cornerbacks and defensive backs. It's just a front 7 that we really have to work on. But I will see you at the midseason mark to see how this team does. Not expecting much, but if we end up competing, then that's always a plus. And at the midseason mark, we are 2-4. Like I said, we didn't really expect much. We still have to build the roster a good bit. Bryce Young is developing. He has not gotten his hidden development yet, though. It's a lot of basically the same right now in terms of the roster. we could go ahead and look at the stats to see how everybody is doing. We are 28th in offensive yards. Not excited to look at Bryce Young's stats. 15th in defensive yards. So the defense is holding it down. Bryce Young has 1,500 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. I mean, it is his rookie season. We're not expecting him to just be Peyton Manning coming out there. Dameon Pierce has almost 400 yards and 5 TDs. I would assume that he has the majority of the rushing TDs just because he is the RB1, and it's pretty hard to take that from him. John Mechie III did not get to play last year because of a sickness that he had. 442 yards and 2 TDs. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not sure if it was him or somebody else, but I do remember it was a big wide receiver in the last draft. But Jackson Smith, 347 yards and 2 TDs. Overall, it's kind of spread out in terms of who's getting the ball. Not bad so far. Defense is supposedly where it's at. Of course, TJ Edwards is at the top with the most tackles. TFLs, Grenard has 5 TFLs. Byron Young, the rookie, has 4 TFLs. Collins has 4. Roy Lopez has 4. Grenard has 2 sacks. Tillery has 2 sacks. And Collins has 1. I wonder if we have any interceptions, and we do. TJ Edwards has 2, and Derek Stingley has 2. Desmond King also has 1. Bridge player, like it says, so I don't expect to keep him from next year. But with that being said, we can go ahead and sim to the end of the season. I'm not going to look at the draft just yet, just so I can gauge where we're going to be at in terms of position. We're 2-4, so it could either go up or it could just completely dissipate. And yeah, I'll see you at the end of the season. And at the end of the season, we did end up going 5-12. It's an improvement from last year. I'm not complaining too much. Wish that we could have done maybe a little worse, to be honest, just because I don't think that we're going to be one of the top teams in terms of mock draft and the position that we're at. But the stats at the end of season 1 were 26 in offensive yards. Wow, Bryce Young picked it up. And 30th in defensive yards. So the defense kind of just gave up at one point. Bryce Young had 4,400 yards, 30 TDs, and 18 interceptions. Pretty good for a rookie year. He has to get accustomed to it. Dameon Pierce just got over the 1,000-yard rushing mark. 9 TDs, 2 rushing TDs for Bryce Young. Not bad, not bad. Receiving, John Mechie. Wow. Over 1,000 yards and 4 TDs, and Jackson Smith got 1,007 TDs. That should help him develop a good bit on the defensive side. TJ Edwards has the most sacks. Grenard has the most TFLs. 9 TFLs for Tillery, 9 for Collins, and 7 for Byron Young. Not bad from the rookie. 4 sacks from Grenard, 3 sacks from Collins, and 1 sack from the rookie. He should be good. I didn't draft him just because. He seems like a pretty good outside linebacker, I think it is. But we will go ahead and see who won the Super Bowl and who gets all the awards this season. All right. And at the end of season 1 of the rebuild, the Ravens lose to the Falcons 27-14. Marcus Mariota winning Super Bowl MVP is a weird sight to see. None of our players won any awards. I don't think it matters if we don't, so I'm not going to name it off. We're going to go ahead and see who is up for re-signing, because we just got a big salary boost, and I'm assuming that it's going to be Laramie Tunsil, and that's something that I'm afraid of right now. Yep. Laramie Tunsil is up for a contract at 30 years old, 94 overall. I don't want him to walk. I think I'm going to give him as much money as I possibly can, to be honest with you. I don't see why not. Very player friendly. I need this left tackle to stay for the time being. I enjoyed playing for you, but I think I'm going to test out free agency. He didn't want to come that bad that he just completely rejected one of the best offers that he's going to get. I kind of feel $35 million for 1 year. That's a bit crazy. I'm going to try to sign Desmond King now. Actually, no. I'm just going to leave it for free agency. I'm going to try to get Laramie Tunsil back in free agency as well. None of these other players are really too big of a need to me. So I'm going to see how things look in free agency and what players are there, and hopefully we can spend a lot of money on them. At the end of day one, I know a lot of Cowboys fans are going to be pissed, but we're trying to get Dexter Lawrence a second. Doesn't have much interest in us, but we do need a defensive tackle regardless. Laramie Tunsil attempting to get him back. Rashad Gary, left outside linebacker, a position of need. I'm sure, yeah. Harris is there. I don't want him to stay there much longer. Trayvon Diggs. I know y'all Dallas Cowboys fans are about to get tight about this. I think if Trayvon Diggs gets a bag by somebody whenever he goes into free agency that is not Jerry Jones, he's going to take it. But right outside linebacker, another position of need. A lot of good, actually more than good players. The only moderately good is our right outside that we're trying to sign, but we're gonna go ahead and see who we get, and hopefully we end up getting most of these. We're still at the top for some of these guys. We got all three of Dexter Lawrence, Laramie Tunsil, and Josh Uche back. Rashad Gary got another offer from the Titans, tied with us. I think I'm gonna go ahead and improve that one. Trayvon Diggs is still waiting on something, so I'm gonna go ahead and try to get Rashad Gary a little better of a contract and see how he feels about it. We're going to go ahead and see if Rashad Gary and Trayvon Diggs end up coming to the Houston Texans. We have to see if they end up deciding, and they do. Rashad Gary and Trayvon Diggs end up coming to the Texans. I think those are all great pickups right now. We still have a lot of salary cap space. I don't see much more that we could do. Maybe Isaiah Simmons would be a good pickup, but we have a strong safety that's pretty young and pretty good right now. Free safety wouldn't hurt. I think my last signing is going to try to be John Johnson III. A good free safety. We need a free safety. I'm hoping that he ends up deciding to come to us, and he does. So we get a full defense, basically, off of this free agency. I like the cap room that we have left. I'm going to leave it at that. Try to save it for next season. We got a lot of big upgrades to our defense right now. I like how our team looks at the moment. The wide receivers I didn't really want to touch because Jackson Smith is developing. John Mechie has had an 1,000-yard season all of a sudden. Brandon Cooks, I'm a bit concerned about his contract to see how much he's getting paid. And if he's getting paid a lot, then I might have to get rid of him. He has one more year, and it's $24.3 million. I'm going to try to pack up Brandon Cooks, do what the Texans could not, and see if we're able to get a pick or two out of it. 95 overall. Dexter Lawrence at defensive tackle looks amazing right now. Trayvon Diggs is there. Derek Stingley, our former rookie Cam Smith. Hopefully he ends up developing. I didn't want to get another quarterback and end up taking from his success. So we have a good all-around defense right now. I think the ends is what we're going to focus on, and the defensive line in general and offensive line is going to be something that we focus on in this draft. If we find a good tight end, I will have to take him. But I'm going to see what I can get for Brandon Cooks and try to get some value out of him because $24.3 million is insane. So I'm going to be planning to try to move up to the one spot where the Dolphins are right now for this left end that looks really good. I would just stick at my position if I liked what was going on there, but that left end does not look that great, and I would like to take advantage of the fact that this left end looks absolutely insane. Anthony Cherry is just, he looks like a beast. So I'm going to try to use Brandon Cooks in order to be able to move up to the first spot and hopefully be able to pull off something that can get us that first pick. So I basically unloaded our first round picks and Brandon Cooks for the first pick and Jerome Baker. The reason why Jerome Baker's in this one is because middle linebacker position is always helpful and linebackers in general is always helpful. Brandon Cooks, obviously I was trying to get rid of him, the 22nd pick. So Jerome Baker was mostly there for a salary filler because they were $10 million over the cap if I try to trade Brandon Cooks to them. And if I waited any longer, then it would have probably been worse. So I had to do what I had to do. Fourth pick, 22nd, and Brandon Cooks for the first pick and Jerome Baker. I think that's a good package for him. I tried almost everything else and they weren't taking it. So I really like Anthony Cherry. I think it's worth it. I think it's worth sacrificing 2 players for 1. So we're going to end up getting Anthony Cherry, and hopefully he ends up developing very well for our team. All right, and we are now in the NFL draft, and I have clearly said what I'm going to end up taking, and it is Anthony Cherry. He looks like an absolute beast. Elite agility, elite change of direction. Did pretty well at the Combine and Pro Day, but A tackle, A power moves, A play recognition, A finesse moves, B pursuit. I think it's going to look amazing. Power rusher, hidden development, 87 strength, 83 speed, 86 agility. I like my chances with him. I needed a left end desperately, so we didn't even have one. We didn't sign one, so I'm glad to get him, and now we can look towards the rest of the draft to see what we can build around that. So there's a top 5 talent that dropped to the second round right now, or top 5 projection that dropped to the second round right now. And I'm kind of tempted to take him. He doesn't have great mid route running. His short route and spectacular catch is an A, and everything that I see is mostly A to C. Deep route is C to F. He's physical. He's 6'4", 228, 21 out of South Carolina. I kind of want to take the risk. I would like to have a young core of wide receivers that I can just depend on. So I think I'm going to take him. Hopefully he's good. Normal development, 89 speed, 91 jumping, 89 change of direction, 91 acceleration, and 87 agility. I'm just hoping that he ends up actually panning out. Better than Jackson Smith. Jackson Smith did good last year, but I think that was more because of an inflated stat line because he's on the Texans. I'm going to go ahead and take this right guard out of San Diego State, a pass protector, A pass block finesse, B pass block power, A awareness. It is the 3rd round. I like my chances with him. Ryan Smith, hidden development, 87 strength, 97 acceleration. He's going to end up starting regardless. We have a left tackle, left guard, right tackle. I think we have a center from last year's draft. He's been doing all right. He's a low overall, so can't really expect much, but I think that was a great pickup in the 3rd round. All right, and at the start of season 1, Bryce Young is a superstar. I did see that when we were doing free agency. I was just more focused on free agency. I caught a slight glimpse. Our 3 young wide receivers, we got rid of Brandon Cooks. We have our rookie right guard, 74 overall in the 3rd round, is not bad at all. Dameon Pierce at halfback did improve to an 85 overall. I like our offense right now. We just need a tight end, really. Cherry, I'm hoping for good things for him this season. Overall, our team looks pretty good. Defensive tackle, too, could help. I tried to get that at one point, and it didn't work. Right end is definitely going to be probably the next draft or the next free agency since we do have cap space. But I will have to see you at the midseason mark, and hopefully we do good and end up competing just a little bit. And at the midseason mark, we are 2-5. Not a great start. Not a great start at all. Still kind of expected it, to be honest. Bryce Young is at an 82 overall. Still a superstar. Dameon Pierce is slowly improving as well. So is Jackson Smith. Our line looks good. It looks good. I don't see what the issue is. Dexter Lawrence is the defensive tackle 1. Cherry only ended up being a star, but I'm assuming that he's hopefully gonna improve over time. It might be the cornerbacks, in all honesty, that is the issue, because Trayvon Diggs is injured, and I keep forgetting to take off injuries. All right, we can go ahead and see the stats on the season. We are 5th in offensive yards. Must be the defense then. Has to be. 14th in defensive. So we are 2-5, but we have some of the best ratings in the league. 9 interceptions is a bit crazy in season 2, though. 2,000 yards, 11 TDs, and 9 interceptions. That is not good. 470 yards and 7 TDs for Dameon Pierce. That's not bad. Receiving, Jackson Smith is taking over that wide receiver 1 position. 615 yards and 4 touchdowns. He looks pretty good. Mechie, 358 and 2 touchdowns. Seems like that last year was kind of a one-hit wonder, I guess. Well, hopefully not. TFLs, Dexter Lawrence has 14, Cherry has 9, and Cam Smith has 4 as a cornerback. Sacks, Dexter Lawrence also is leading in sacks. Cherry has 5, and Rashad Gary has 1.5. So not bad overall. It could be better, of course. I mean, we dropped almost $100 million on players this offseason for one of them to get injured and the rest to kind of just be like, okay. I mean, Dexter Lawrence has been really stand out, but I think the offense is definitely going to be a point of emphasis either this offseason in terms of free agency or the draft. But players ready to negotiate. We'll take a look at this right now to see if it's any importance. Jerome Baker is ready to negotiate. I'm not sure if I'm going to bring him back for that price tag, but as our right guard, I'm not going to say his name, Isaac Siamalo. I hope that's right. 79 overall still. He is a scheme fit, so we'll see. Everybody else is kind of like, Nico Collins is already like a wide receiver 4. The tight end is not that big of a priority right now. I'm hoping to see a bigger tight end in free agency. Amari Rodgers, Davis Mills. It's just a lot of the players that we had before we started getting better players. So I think I will have to see you guys at the end of the season, and hopefully we maybe make a comeback and just end up taking the division. All right, whoa. We did not make a comeback at all. We ended up being the same record as last year, 5-12. Not good. Why did our defense drop from an 85 to an 81? I'm kind of concerned. Oh. Well, everybody's back. I don't know why it dropped so far. But right end, I guess, is going to be a point of emphasis since we are 5-12. Bryce Young is still a superstar. Jackson Smith is up to an 80 overall. Our line still looks good. Smith officially got replaced. If I re-signed him, I'm just going to change his position to left guard. Jordan, I don't think he is young. Is he? He is 24. Brevin Jordan out of Miami. I don't know how I didn't know that he was from Miami. Huh. That might be somebody I tried to re-sign. I mean, just to have a safe option at tight end. But it seems like the offense isn't doing enough. We are 5-12 right now. We can see what the stats are to see what the issue is. But we are 3rd in offensive yards. Okay. And 5th in defensive yards. That doesn't make any sense. 5,000 yards, 28 TDs, and 19 interceptions. Why are you throwing so many picks? Dameon Pierce got over the 1,000 yards, 15 touchdowns on the season, and only 1 fumble. That's insane. Jackson Smith had 1,300 yards and 11 TDs. Brevin Jordan had almost 1,200 yards and 2 TDs. And Mechie did not quite get to 1,000, but he had 5 TDs. I mean, it's looking good. I can't tell why we're 5-12 right now. 23 TFLs for Lawrence and 21 for Anthony Cherry. And then Cherry ended up being the leader in sacks with 10, and Dexter Lawrence had 9.5. Rashad Gary had 9 TFLs and 5 sacks, and blase. But those two are some people to worry about on that line. All right, and at the end of 2024, the Lions beat the Titans, and Jared Goff is Super Bowl MVP. You can count on Madden to come up with some random crap. Anthony Cherry does win Defensive Rookie of the Year. That is great for us. I like to see that. Detroit Lions win their first Super Bowl. I don't know if that's very likely with Jared Goff, but hey. So we did not end up getting the right guard back. I quite literally give them the exact offer that they want, and they say, nah, I'm cool. I'm going to test free agency. Doesn't make any sense. Brevin Jordan, hopefully he comes back. Okay. He does sign a 3-year offer. Hopefully we do have the cap space for a big tight end if there is one in free agency. I was really only concerned about this right guard and the tight end. Jerome Baker, I don't know. I don't know if I really want to do that. I mean, if he'll take it, it's a good offer. I'm glad we got the deal done. Okay, well, we have a good backup middle linebacker. If we change schemes, we have a good middle linebacker too, so that we're not just stuck with a bad middle linebacker. But we have to go ahead and see what is in free agency to hopefully pick up the team even more. Not a lot of great players in this offseason, but I'm attempting to get a few people. Byron Jones, I'm a bit not too crazy about just because I've had to deal with him in real life in terms of the Dolphins. Jeffrey Simmons is the big one that I'm trying to get to see if I end up being fine at right end or I have to draft one in the draft, which there is one. Not too convinced about him. Cornerback seems to be a point of weakness on our team. And I would like to get at least one of these guys. I think I'm just going to try to get James Bradberry, to be honest with you. I'm not too crazy about Byron Jones. He's an inch shorter and 5 pounds less. So I'm just going to take this offer away and hope that James Bradberry does end up signing. Now we're competing with a lot more teams. Did Jeffrey Simmons decide to go somewhere else? We were the top pick. Well, I guess we're going to have to get one in the draft. I mean, we can see if James Bradberry ends up coming to us, and he doesn't. So we get absolutely nobody in this free agency. I mean, there's not much else to do in terms of this free agency. The defensive tackles don't need. Eric Stokes, not too crazy about. I mean, I could try to get this right guard back just to be able to still keep an O-line going, but that was so dumb. We were 5 bars on him. 5 bars, and just decided to go somewhere with less money. Don't understand that, but we're going to see what we end up getting with this last evaluation offer or period. And hopefully we get both of these linemen just to suit up our line, and we do center and right guard. So we get a full line. Now we have to worry about the right end position in the draft, and I'm not too crazy about it. We're packing up our first round pick, our third round pick, and our fourth round pick for the first pick in the draft. I'm really all in on this right end that seems to be projected to go first. He looks pretty good. After the pro day and the combine, I was more convinced before he was just a round 1 projection, but I like how he looks. I'm really all in on the defense being the defense, and the offense, I really can't find anything to help with the tight end situation other than just waiting for our tight end to develop. So Paul Anderson, the one out of, I'll just show you through this, the one out of Alabama, he's projected to go first. 6'3", 252. He's a speed rusher. His physicals look great. Elite acceleration, elite jumping, elite change of direction. I mean, it all looks good. A tackle, A impact blocking. I like it. The stats that go with speed rusher are not there yet, but I like my chances with it. I do like my chances with it. They wanted me to take a left tackle like I don't have Laramie Tunsil already. I understand that he could be regressing, but I'm not too crazy about it. There is cornerback that could be in addition, but I really need the defensive line to just be absolutely suffocating for teams, and then we'll kind of just worry about everything else as we go. But there's not much to think about right now. All right, we can go ahead and hop into the draft. I really only have 2 places that I'm trying to draft at the moment in terms of 2 players that I'm trying to draft at the moment. It's definitely this right end that they had, Paul Anderson. I like how he looks. I like my chances. B finesse moves out of Alabama. We'll hope he is hidden development, 86 jumping, 91 acceleration, 80 speed, and 79 strength. So not bad at all. Not bad. I definitely have one other person in mind for the draft, and I think that's just going to be it for me drafting in terms of that, because we did trade away our 3rd and 4th round pick. So I'm not too crazy about waiting for the 5th round and hoping that we get something or whatever. But I cannot get to make your selection. It was more Justice Schwartz, to be honest with you. He looks good, but he is strictly a vertical threat. So is Jimmy Goldman, but he seems like he has more of a shot to be better. He has elite speed and elite agility. I don't see why he would be not as good as Justin Schwartz. I think I'm going to take a risk on Jimmy Goldman, even though I don't have the stats that I need right now. He is hidden development, so it's not much of a risk anyway. 6'5", 261 out of Oregon, a vertical threat, 88 speed, 88 agility, and 86 acceleration. I don't see why he was ranked below Schwartz, but that's going to be it for this draft. I'm excited to see what overall he is, and hopefully he ends up boosting our offense even more for us to actually compete. All right, and at the start of season 3 of the rebuild, we do have a pretty good tight end now. He is hidden development. I like to see that. The wide receivers are developing. Dameon Pierce is an 87. Bryce Young has not gone up in overalls as much as I hoped that he would, but our offense right now is built for him to be able to develop even more. Dexter Lawrence went up to an X Factor. That is great. That is great. I don't know why Paul Anderson is not playing right end. That is his position. Bit confused. Yeah. Why is he not playing right end? Anyways, cornerbacks look great. We have Trayvon Diggs here. He did go down to a star. Not too crazy about that. Cam Smith went up to a star. And yeah. I like our team. I like our team right now. I have to make sure that Paul Anderson plays his actual position, and then I think we'll be just fine to make a push for the playoffs. I don't understand why, but we do have breakout QB for Bryce Young. We are 2-5 again. Don't know how. Don't know why. I'm as confused as probably you are right now. Bryce Young seems to have a breakout moment coming. Superstar. Tight end ended up being a superstar. I really don't know why we're not being successful right now. I don't know why Paul Anderson is not playing the position that he's supposed to play. All right. Well, I guess that's fixed. I thought I fixed it before, but I guess not. But here we are, 2-5. Don't know why. I'm still confused. Our team is great. There's no reason for us to be losing games right now. I really don't see why. Maybe the wide receivers, but we're still going to be top of the stats, and that's going to be the issue because how are we third in offensive yards? And 32nd in defensive yards. Why are we so bad on defense? Almost 2,000 yards, 12 TDs, and 10 interceptions for Bryce Young. It's not great. It's still not great. His ratio is not good. 555 yards and 8 TDs for Dameon Pierce. Receiving, Jackson Smith has 630 and 3 TDs. Goldman is having a season, 5 TDs and 466. I mean, it seems like we're not doing well on the defensive side. Yeah, Dexter Lawrence only has 11 TFLs. Cherry has 9. Sacks, Cherry has 2.5, and Lawrence has 2, and interceptions. I mean, it's okay, but I wish it could be better. But I guess we're going to have to see how it goes by the end of the season. I'm hoping to see some wins, maybe pushing back into the race. But the Colts have the top of the division right now, so we'll probably have to go for the wild card. Gonna have to hope. Gonna have to hope that it ends up panning out. We do have some big players to re-sign right now. I'm going to give my try now before it gets to the point that I will have to compete with other teams if they end up rejecting. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get Dameon Pierce back. A great running back. This is exactly the offer that he wants. So we have our star running back back. Orlando Brown is here. I'm just trying to treat everybody right. That's all I'm trying to do right now. Not trying to screw them in any ways. Another 3-year contract for Townsend. Cool. He wants to stay too. I am more than happy to keep all these players. Derek Stingley. A 5-year deal. If you'll take this, then I'm fine with it. Happy to sign and continue. Okay. We're doing pretty good so far. Jalen Petrie has been okay at strong safety. I would hope that he develops a bit more. I'll give him a little more, try to entice it a little bit. That's a good offer. We keep our strong safety. Not too mad about it. Isaac Samalu is there. I'll probably have to draft some linemen, to be honest with you. Maybe we can wait for them. I'm not too sure about it. I want to have at least 50 mil going into free agency. Maybe get a big player in terms of wide receiver maybe. I've tried to do these young wide receivers, and it seems like that's the issue right now. So I'm going to go ahead and sim to the playoffs and hope that we make it. If we don't, another off season of rebuilding. All right, well, we made a little push back. 8-9 is not bad in terms of finishing off the season. I would have loved to be more into the playoffs, but we picked it up after a good bit. But we can go ahead and look at if Bryce Young ended up getting that superstar X factor in that game. And he did not, but he is an 87 overall. Dameon Pierce just keeps going up. Jackson Smith is doing great. Mechie's doing great. Hillhouse is doing fine. Our line is fine right now. I would like to probably draft one in this draft, just because I don't see what other positions that we would be able to draft and kind of just wait on. Usually the linemen come out pretty good. So we can go ahead and look at the stats and see what the issue is. I mean, we didn't finish off with an issue since we were 8 and 9, but I'm assuming it's still the defense. 4th in offensive yards. Yeah, it must be the defense that isn't really carrying the load. 28th in defensive yards. It's not good at all. Not good at all. 5,000 yards for Bryce Young, 38 TDs and 17 interceptions. He picked it up. He picked it up after the midseason mark. Dameon Pierce once again gets to 1,000 yards and 15 TDs. He's doing his thing, and I'm glad I re-signed him now. Jackson Smith is at 1,500 yards and 11 TDs. Our tight end, superstar tight end, 1,100 yards and 10 TDs. That looks great. And Mechie, 1,000 yards and 5 TDs. It's a great top 3 receiving core right there. Hillhouse is a good 4th option. I'm not looking for him to be this standout player. I just liked his stats. Of course, TJ Edwards, once again, is at the top of this. But Cherry leading in TFLs with 22. Lawrence with 17. Rashad Gary with 14. And Dexter with 14. And sacks, Cherry also leading. 12.5 sacks. 8.5 for Rashad Gary. 7.5 for Lawrence. And interceptions, John Johnson had 3. TJ Edwards had 2. And Cam Smith had 2. Jerome Baker also had 2. Do not mind that at all. I like the cap space that we have going into the offseason. I think we have a good chance to get some big players. Maybe we do get a better O-line. Maybe we find a better wide receiver, but we definitely have to see who is available when that comes. And at the end of 2025, I think this is our 4th year of the rebuild. Nobody on our team won any awards, but the Chiefs beat the Saints 24-18. Of course, Patrick Mahomes is going to get Super Bowl MVP. Hopefully we get to the Super Bowl next year. I'm thinking that we could at this point with the way that our whole team is looking. It's hard to pick a spot in terms of what needs improvement, but probably the wide receivers is the point of emphasis right now. I think the only player that I'm looking at in this re-signing period to re-sign is John Mechie III, just because he's a great 3rd option. I wouldn't mind re-signing him. We do have $76 million in cap. So I'm definitely going to try to re-sign him. 78 overall. I like him. I'm going to give him a player-friendly contract. This is exactly the offer that he wanted. So he's coming back. And I'm going to wait on these linemen. See if there's anything better in free agency. And hopefully there is, so we can improve our line even more. So we're going to be going after these top 5 right here. The reason why I ended up going with DK anyways was because Chris Olave wasn't very interested in coming, and DK Metcalf was. I don't mind paying DK. I'm expecting him not to regress until probably like 30, and at that point I'll probably trade him. So Drake London and DK wanted to come, or had some interest to come, so I gave them their contract. Zion Johnson, might have to give him more money because I did not see that the Bengals had a better offer than us, but I do want to get that right guard. Andrew Booth is simply because he is superstar and he's 25, so he might develop a little more. I'm still not too confident in Cam Smith being our CB3 right now. I would love for Andrew Booth to be that. Center, obviously, because we need a center right now. I'm going to go ahead and resubmit an offer to Zion Johnson, and hopefully he ends up coming to our team. But we'll see. So we did end up getting DK, Andrew Booth, and Chase, the center. Zion Johnson didn't really want to come to us as much as I wanted him to. Drake London is still thinking about it because now he got an offer from the Saints that is almost at the same level as us. I'm going to look for another lineman and hopefully find one that can fit the spot well. But yeah, I think I just might have to sign our right guard that we've been having back. And we're going to go ahead and see right now if we end up getting both of these people. I really do hope that we do. Drake London, I know the Saints offered him something, but we've been here. I'm hoping that we get a good wide receiver too next to DK, and we do. So we get DK, Drake London, Andrew Booth, and Isaac. All right, and now we can basically just sim to our pick. I have a right guard in mind right now, and hopefully he is there for us to take. Seems like he will be. Hoping he is. It will just make it a lot easier. He is here. David Campbell was somebody that I was eyeing from the get-go. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. I'm not expecting a right guard to have good jumping. B run block, B pass block, finesse, B awareness, A impact block. It's not bad. We need a right guard. Hopefully he ends up panning out, and he is hidden development, so he has 92 strength and 79 acceleration. So that's not bad at all. 6'4", 335 out of Tennessee. I hope that he pans out. We do have an aging right guard, so we might just start him instead of our aging one. This left guard looks pretty good to me. It doesn't hurt to have multiple linemen, I would say, in terms of developing and things like that. Pass protector, University of Florida, 6'2" and 307. We really have no other positions right now that we need. He is hidden development in the second round, so it's not a bad pick at all. Hopefully, maybe he pans out and we can just pack up another offensive lineman for a pick. But I'm excited to see if he pans out, and we'll have to see what else we get. All right, and at the start of Season 5, I think it is, we look pretty good right now. We have some hidden development players behind starting ones. I'm hoping that they end up developing behind them. Our tight end ended up turning into a superstar X Factor. If this isn't the season to win a Super Bowl, I don't know what is. But I'm getting trade offers from teams about John Mechie. I don't plan on trading him. The only one that I'll trade was probably Hillhouse. I like our core right now. I like our receiving core right now. Our defense, Paul Anderson is only a star. Cherry ended up going up to X Factor, and Lawrence went down to superstar, but he's a 99 overall. So I do not mind that at all. Andrew Booth, the CB3, I think we're looking good. I think we're looking great right now. I like what I see. I think we can definitely make a push this offseason right now and hopefully win a Super Bowl. All right, well, another season, another 2-5 season. I don't understand how we're so bad, but here we are at the midseason mark. Bryce Young is an 87 overall still. Campbell has overtaken the left guard position, and our younger right guard ended up moving back to his normal position. DK is here. Drake London's here. There's nobody injured. Dameon Pierce is a 90 overall. I just don't see what the issue is at all. We'll have to see in the stats and see if there's anything that shows that's been bad, but really can't tell why. 13th in offensive yards is not bad. It's not bad enough to be out of it. 27th in defensive yards. Why do we suck so bad on defense? Wow, 19 TDs and 4 interceptions and almost 2,000 yards for Bryce Young. It's not bad. Dameon Pierce almost has 400. He has 2 TDs. Not on the same pace as usual. Receiving, Jackson Smith is still at the top. 402 and 3 TDs. DK, almost 400, 3 TDs. Goldman with almost 400 again and 6 TDs. So not bad, but the defense, what is going on? I don't understand why we suck so bad. Dexter Lawrence has 6 TFLs. Rashad Gary has 5. Jerry has 4 sacks. Dexter Lawrence has 6 sacks. Rashad Gary has 5. Cherry has 3.5. I'm really confused as to why we suck. Does Trayvon Diggs just like let deep bombs go ahead of him, or I'm confused. I don't know why we suck so bad. I guess we'll have to hope that we end up coming back into the season. We're an 87 overall and we're 2-5. Doesn't make sense. Hopefully we bring it back. We do have somebody to sign that's pretty important, and it's Bryce Young. We definitely have to make sure that we get Bryce Young back on a good contract that he's not going to be mad about. Player friendly. We'll have 19 mil left. So I don't mind that at all. Happy to sign with the organization. We keep him back. Keep him back. Trayvon Diggs, I think, is the issue. I think he's the issue. I think he's definitely the person that's making the most issues for the team right now. Not too convinced on re-signing him, especially for that 1 year that he wants. Bit confused on that. He's 28. But TJ Edwards, I think this has to be the year that we end up doing it. It has to be. It's our 5th year. Our team is almost perfect. There's like absolutely no reason to be as bad as we are right now. So hopefully we make the turnaround. Tyler Huntley is our backup. That's crazy. But I'm going to sim to the end of the season, and hopefully we make the playoffs. All right. Whoa. We actually won the division. Came back. What is that? 6-1 to end off the season? All right. 11-6. We're facing the Miami Dolphins at our stadium. Let's go ahead and see what happened to our team. I mean, some people had to improve. We've made probably one of the biggest comebacks of the season. Bryce Young went up to a 92. DK went up to a 94. Drake London went up to an 87. And Jackson Smith went up to an 85. I like what I see. 88 for the tight end. Still a superstar X Factor. I mean, I can't stress this enough. We have to be pushing for the Super Bowl right now. I see no other circumstance. Cornerbacks need to show up. Defensive line, y'all are made for this. We have to see what happens in this game, but we're going to check the stats before we get into it and see what ended up panning out. Our offense, 2nd in the NFL. Okay, and defense was 15th. It's still not the best, but they're doing good enough. Almost 5,000 yards, 36 TDs, and 11 interceptions for Bryce Young. Not bad. Dameon Pierce, 1,000 yards and 14 TDs. Also not bad. Not at the same level that he's usually at. DK and Drake London both get 1,000. Goldman almost got 1,000. 9 TDs for DK, 4 for Drake, and 7 for Goldman. Jackson Smith is still not giving up his spot. 921 yards and 8 TDs. And Dameon Pierce has a good amount of receiving yards too, and that's not bad since we want an all-around running back. Jerome Baker now is actually the leader in tackles. TFLs, it's Dexter Lawrence once again with 14 and Cherry with 10. And sacks, Rashad Gary has 9, Dexter Lawrence has 8.5, and Cherry has 6.5. So now we get into our first playoff game against the Dolphins, and I just hope that we can win one game at a time and make the Super Bowl. All right, so we start off the game with the Dolphins getting the ball, and they end up punting it away pretty quickly to us, and we go downfield and get a touchdown. The Dolphins cannot seem to do anything but get a turnover and get the touchdown. We're going downfield, and we end up only getting the field goal. The Dolphins now have the ball and punt it away back to us. We punt it right back. It's a stalemate right now, 10-7. We need to do something with it, and we end up not doing much. It is still a stalemate, but the Dolphins seem to be going downfield as they end up, I think, punting it away when they're pretty much in field goal range. Gotta hope that we do something with this. We get another field goal. We make it 6 points, and we're going into the half up by 6, and we get the ball first, but get sacked by Jalen Phillips. We get a lot of big yards and a 33-yard touchdown to Jackson Smith. I hope that does it for the game. The Dolphins come downfield and end up turning the ball over, and the Texans get another. They only got a field goal, so it's 24-7, and the Dolphins seem to be doing something with it, but turn the ball over once again. And I think that's really all but it right now. I don't think the Dolphins can come back from this deficit. We're chewing clock, and that is going to possibly be the game, even though they got a touchdown. Doesn't matter much. 24-14. The Texans win in the wild card, but we have bigger things to worry about after this game, and I'm just hoping that we can execute. All right, now we're facing the Pittsburgh Steelers. They seem to always have a good defense in this game, so I think it's going to be a pretty defensive game in this one. Hopefully we can come out on top. Still basically even records, but we still have home field advantage, so got to come out with the win. All right, and here we are. We start off with the ball. We're going downfield pretty progressively, but we end up getting the touchdown. 7-0 to start off the game, but the Steelers go right downfield and get a touchdown of their own. We end up having to punt it away. It is 7-7. We get a turnover. We are going downfield, and we get the touchdown. It is 14-7, and the Steelers have the ball before the end of the half and end up getting a touchdown of their own as well. 14-14. The Texans are going downfield pretty quickly. It is 21-14. The Steelers have the ball once again and have to punt it away back to us. That might just be what makes the difference for us. They got a penalty And we end up getting a 29-yard reception by DK Metcalf from Bryce Young and end up getting another touchdown. It is 28-14 before the half. All we had to do is stop them from scoring before the half, and it doesn't seem like we can do that. They end up getting a touchdown, and it is 28-21 before the half, and I don't think that we're going to be looking to force it. So now the Steelers get the ball and could tie it up and make this game even right now, and they're getting pretty close. But it is an interception by Jerome Baker for 90 yards. What a big interception, a clutch interception by Jerome Baker. Got to see if we can do something with it. And we do not. We end up punting it. And the Steelers get the ball right back in almost field goal range and end up getting a field goal. It is 28-24. We are going downfield. Hopefully we get a touchdown, and we do. 35-24. We're up by 11 right now. And the Steelers are making their way downfield, but they're wasting a lot of time on the clock. They only get a field goal. We're going down pretty quickly. The Steelers defense does not seem to be doing much against us, and we end up getting a touchdown, 42-27. Seems like the Texans are going to be able to come out on top as the Steelers go downfield and get another touchdown of their own, I think. 42-34, we're chewing clock, and we end up chewing it completely. 42-34, Texans beat the Steelers, and we move on to the conference championship. All right, now we face, I guess, one of the best teams in the league, 13-4. The Kansas City Chiefs are still doing good, and I think 2026 it is. It's going to be a difficult matchup. It's definitely going to be a difficult matchup, but hopefully we can come out on top and have our defense propel us to the Super Bowl. And here we go. The Texans start off with the ball and end up going downfield pretty quickly. The Chiefs defense is not able to stop us on the first drive. It is 7-0, but the Chiefs are going downfield on their own as well, but end up turning the ball over. We get a big drive, 14-0. Very quick 14-0 against the Chiefs right now, but the Chiefs are doing their own thing. They get a field goal, 14-3. And we're progressively going downfield. We get a penalty, and we get a big gain. Hopefully that gives us another touchdown, and it does, 21-3. And the Chiefs are going downfield with very limited time on the clock, and they end up only taking a field goal. We might be able to do something with it. We get a big gain. We get another big gain, and we take the field goal, 24-6. So it is officially, I think, a 3-touchdown game, if I'm not mistaken. The Chiefs start out with the ball. They're going downfield very progressively, and they end up punting it away, and it's a touchback for the Texans to receive. And we just can't be stopped today. We cannot be stopped. It is 31-6, and the Chiefs just seem to not have any answers. They get a touchdown. Might be too late though. 34-13. It's just not looking good for them. We chew clock, and that is the end of that game. It seemed like a very difficult game against Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, but we're going to the Super Bowl, so we gotta see who we're facing and what we have to do to beat them. This is an interesting matchup. The 9-8 New Orleans Saints make it to the Super Bowl with an 87 overall offense, but an 81 overall defense. It might be easy, but I'm not trying to underestimate them. Justin Herbert is their QB, so we have to see what we end up doing in the Super Bowl and hopefully come out on top once again. All right, and the Chiefs start out with the ball, and it seems like their offense is going to have to do what they have been doing the entire playoffs, and they get a touchdown to start off with. We end up not getting anything and have to punt it away, but they also have to punt it, hoping that we end up getting a touchdown to answer back, and we do. It's 7-7, and the Saints offense ends up not doing anything and turns over the ball at midfield, and we just take our field goal. So it is 10-7, and the Saints get a penalty, might have been a lucky one, and they end up getting another touchdown. It is 14-10, and we're looking to come back and get a big touchdown, and we do. It's 17-14. Getting to the end of the second, and the Saints go downfield and get another touchdown. 21-17. Almost messed it up. And it's the start of the third quarter. Houston Texans have the ball, looking to get a touchdown, and we end up getting it. It is 24-21. and they punted away right back to us. We're going downfield, hopefully looking for some more points, and we get a big gain and another touchdown. 31-21 while we're going into the fourth, and the Saints are going downfield very quickly and getting another one. It is 31-28. We really just have to either score or chew clock, as Jackson Smith gets a 34-yard reception. And we're looking for basically the same. It's 3rd and 11 because our right guard got a penalty. But our tight end gets us a 23-yard reception and basically saves us on that. We might just be able to get... We do get a touchdown. I thought we were just going to get a field goal. It is 38-28. End of the fourth, the Saints have to do something with it. They look like they're doing okay right now. They keep getting these big plays, and they get a touchdown, or a field goal actually. 38-31. Onside kick is recovered by us, so that might be the end of the game. And your Houston Texans win the Super Bowl with Bryce Young at the helm of it. And that's really what you guys are looking for right now at this point. For Bryce Young to take y'all to the promised land. I'm thinking that the Texans are going to make a package to move up to that 1 pick for the Bears. But, hey, man. Justin Herbert embracing Bryce Young even though he lost. And the Texans win the Super Bowl. I'm assuming that Bryce Young is going to be Super Bowl MVP. I can't really see anybody else being that unless it's either the tight end or Jackson Smith. Jackson Smith has been doing good the entire playoffs. Of course, they're going to hand it off to the QB in this, but we're going to see who won Super Bowl MVP at the end of the season. All right, and at the end of it all, Bryce Young does win Super Bowl MVP, and the Texans win their very first championship, beating the Saints 38-31. The Saints did pretty good in that game. None of our players, except for the Coach of the Year. Champagne Chico won Coach of the Year. That's a good sight to see. I don't think I've won that yet in these franchises. So that's a good sight to see. But if you did enjoy, please like and subscribe. Let me know what other teams you want me to rebuild. Let me know what other things you want to see on this channel. Open to making whatever you guys suggest. But I will see you in the next video. Peace.